say, like, on the topic of art, and it's just, like, I don't know, I've just been kind of, like, in a very silly, like, creative feud with, like, kind of the line of work that I am going in as, like, a storyteller. I really just love, like, archiving my life. I feel like trying to come up and, like, make up a story, like, no, it's happening, like, all the time.
What is spiritual to you?
It is everywhere. It's in, like, silence, I think. When I can be, like, really, really still and get outside of myself and just my little antennas, they come out and they perceive things. And I just, like, feel a lot better. What do you think? What does that mean to you, Nyla?
I feel like every time I am alone in a park somewhere, so, like, not silence, but specifically when I can hear the birds. Like, I go and I sit, it's stillness more than it is silence. I think stillness in the middle of the movement and the noise.
Well, I have kind of, like, a question. Like, what kind of plant do you think you are? It's kind of sort of last question.
I feel like I really like the crabapple trees outside our apartment. Right outside the window. I don't know, I like them. They're very many things over the course of the year, and I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a plant?
Yeah. Oh, my God. That is, like, truly the one thing that, like, oh, my God. Like, the California, like, plant, the diversity of plants here is, like, absolutely ridiculous. And I think especially in my area, I've been loving the strange cacti creatures and stuff. I've been very much seeing myself in them, and it's been really helping me to, like, think about myself more as, like literally a plant that is in dirt and ground and entrenched in something, and I am. I like cacti. It's kind of a metaphor for, like, my internal landscape, which I think is kind of, like, a very, like, harsh place in a good way, you know? I think I'm, like, that can be kind of my trap sometimes, but you know, I think of that unfurling action, that being how I feel sometimes.
I have something to read you right now on the topic of that, which is the Substack post that I've already begun writing in relation to this project, which is titled "Dig into the Earth and Hold My Hand Through the Roots." I think about being connected by the earth. There is a line from my feet to theirs. I follow the line with my fingers in the dirt and I dig. My fingers wiggle like worms. I weave through the roots. Thin and young, thick and stubborn, I feel my veins poke through my skin and branch off through the soil, locking in, moving always. I think about how it will hurt to rip these roots out. I will let them grow deeper. Do you think the sun feels different in Los Angeles? I bet it does. And so that's
oh my God.
That's like the last bit.
That's perfect.
And so
yeah, I'm rooting to pull it out. Don't pull it out, you know.
Pull it out.
Let it go. I like that question of how the sun feels to you in Iowa.
Yeah. The sun feels very welcome in fall, and I have been staring out the window the entire week looking at the maple tree that's outside of work, and at the beginning of the week it's like the very tips of the branches were a little bit red and the rest of it was green, and now at the end of the week here the whole tree is basically red, and like that's the sun here. That's what the sun is doing here right now. It's transforming. I think about LA and I'm like, it's probably just kind of hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's sunny every day. It truly does. Like, if I can just, like, tap into that fact, it's, like, very, I'm like, oh, I'm just on vacation, and I'm really lucky I get to be, and the sun is, like, a very smooch on the lips. It's like, la, 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 la. when the sun goes away, it's like, girl, what the fuck? I'm depressed. we're being spoiled with that sun. So I think the sun makes me, I feel really grateful.
Tell me about Matthew.
Oh my god, I'm really like so nervous for him to come here today. He's like 2.5 hours away. Like, we get to have these kinds of seasons together, and then, you know, we go and do our own thing. And that's kind of just the long distance relationship, and you know, sometimes it's hard, but you know, I look forward. He's like changed my life in so many ways. He like is. Like I feel like I'm gonna finally be able to take like a full breath, you know. He just has such like a grounding presence in my life, and he makes me just like appreciate like going to like Rouse and getting a little like he cooks for me, and he like really like takes care of me, and I've never like known what that has felt like, and yeah, I miss him like a lot, and so I'm just like excited to like just be silent and play with him. I also think like he and Nate would get along very well because they both know like nature so well and paid attention to you know, Matthew like knows all the birds and the trees, and I feel like I'm learning so much from him slowly but surely. How would you describe Nate?
I think, go crazy without him. In so many ways. He is such a grounding presence, and he has been so patient with me in the past few months especially. I feel like I've required a lot of patience. But it is, I don't know, living with him has been so wonderful, and our relationship has never been better. And I think it's because it's allowed us to fully understand each other in a way that we were never able to before, and have to like really commit to that understanding of each other. He is just wonderful spirit, and he has been the door to many of the ways in which I feel most spiritually fulfilled, in terms of like all of the nature things. Like, he's the reason I feel compelled to go on walks or go on a run, or like he got this, like he's the one who's been searching for a bike for me on Facebook Marketplace and then picked it up today and is like fixing it. It's like this old bike, he says, from like 1992, and he's like trying to fix it up because it was only like $40, and do all of that. And then we went on this long bike path to the park, and it like led us somewhere way farther than I thought we were going. There are so many times where I'm just like, I cannot do this thing, and he's like, you can do the thing. You totally can do the thing. I'm like, just,
oh my god,
you can do it.
I love like boy brain, like especially like in this nurturing boy partner, like just says like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a good example of like, it's like, oh, I just think you'll figure it out, and then I'm like, oh, like I will just figure it out, you know, like. There are days where like I want to leave this place, and like today I was like, actually yesterday, you know, and I was texting you guys, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so bored, and I literally just like cried in my car. I was just so bored at work because like I don't want to like really work. There's a mysterious third option that I still like, for some reason I get really frustrated because it's like it still feels like kind of far away, like who I want to be and the art that I want to make. And, you know, I think I want to be like a performance artist. Not even an actor, like a performance artist that is just like, I don't know, I have a lot of like craftsmanship to work on to like get to that level, and a lot of like, but I know that I'll find those people and I'll throw myself in those places and fuck it, you know, in a music brand. Anyway, sometimes all that gets so exhausting that I really do just like want like comfort and stability. And sometimes I just want to like uproot all of this, you know. And I want it. I scream and cry. I want it to go out of the dirt, you know. And I just want to. Well, I want to go anywhere else, you know. And I love San Francisco, and I know Matt loves San Francisco. He loves the Bay Area, so I think I would really like that. There's a version of me that has like maybe teleported already to that timeline, and I really think about it a lot. It's like a possibility. And I do think that is the case. I'm not going to be here forever. I don't want to be here forever. I would love to like be myself in a lot of other places, and this is just like a weird kind of. I feel like I'm finally in the waiting room. You know, I've been in a lot of different waiting rooms, and now I'm actually in the waiting room to go see the doctor. That's going to give me the lobotomy I want. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the waiting room.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
Because a lot of my life has felt like a waiting room for something, and I felt it really like deeply, and I don't know what it is, but I do. It's not communicatable, but
yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Anyway, yeah.
Do I breathe the same? Walking up that hill. Does my heart know my name? Do I know its will? Do I breathe the same? Moving pill to pill. Do I play a game? Blood rush, head fill. Fake nails, zodiac stickers. I remember the bigger picture. I'll look to the stars. Look to the stars. Look to the stars. Look to the stars. Will we skip the same after all these tests and trials? Keep it clean and plain. Renew the lease we filed. Will we root the same? Sway in the wind like we're wild. Will we wax and wane? Reflect